Today we are going to discuss the sorry. Today I am going to show you how we can simulate the moving reference frame and sliding meshes. Okay, that means I am going to take direct demo session on the Fluent. Okay, now here I am going to show you moving reference frame as well as sliding mesh. Okay, now here in this exercise, the flow being simulated is in the vertical axis wind turbine, in which there are four blades. You see here, these are the four blades, and that are rotating related to the inner hub. There is a hub inside this, and that is these blades are rotating to inner hub, which in turn about the central axis. That means there is a axis here, and whole assembly is rotating about the central axis. Okay, now see here these are the four blades. I have given names for these blades as blade X negative, this is a blade X positive, this is a blade Y negative, this is a blade Y positive. Okay, now here the centers of the blade rotate about the axis displayed in the this image. Okay, while each each individual blade simultaneously rotate about its center. That means this whole assembly is rotating about this center, as well as this individual blade is rotating about their own center. Okay, now in here I am going to uh, show the simulation by two ways. Okay, by two methods. In first part, motion without actually moving the parts. Okay, that is known as a moving reference frame. Okay, without moving these parts. Okay, and here you will add the local accelerations as a source term to each grid cell to account for the motion of the parts. This technique is known as a moving reference frame technique or moving reference frame approach. Okay, now first I will show you simulation of this turbine. That is a 2D simulation I am going to show by using moving reference frame approach. And in second part, here I will show you how to actually move the parts related to each other, which is known as a sliding mesh. That means how we can show the sliding motion of the mesh or actual parts, that I'm going to show you. Okay, now what are the inputs here? Here you can see these are the this is a mesh domain, this is the outer domain. Here there is a fluid. Okay, and this here is a fluid blade having a name Y positive, and its center is at 0 1. Here this is a fluid core which is rotating. Okay, which is rotating part, and its center is at this location, and at that location there is a origin. Okay, now this is a fluid blade X positive, where centroid of that is at 1 0, and this is the Y negative whose centroid is at 0 minus 1, and this is your fourth blade, it is X negative, its centroid is at minus 1 0. Okay, now this I am going to simulate. Okay, now how I can do this I will show you. First I will open the ANSYS workbench. I will wait for the opening of ANSYS workbench. Now first I will save the project. I will create one folder here on desktop, and I will give here name MRF, is multiple reference frame, and sliding mesh. Okay. After that, what I will do, I am going to solve this problem in the Fluent. So I am going to add the Fluent here. Okay, that is from the component system. I am going to add the Fluent. Okay, now I am going to import the mesh the file. So right click on the setup and import case file. Click on browse button. Here this is folder. In this folder, this is simple wind turbine mesh file. I will click on open. Now after importing, I will open the setup. Now here I am going to use double precision, and I will start the Fluent, and I will wait for opening the Fluent. You see, this is your geometry. These yellow lines are showing the mesh interface. Okay. Now here this is a problem having mesh interface. So there is no conformal mesh because there are different domains, and that domains are rotating, uh, or that domains are not stationary domains. So I will make it default view. Next, after that, I will go to the scale. Here, why I am going to check the scale, because I want to check whether center of the geometry is at the origin. Okay, so I will go to the scale. Now if you see here in scale, if you see this is the information of the model which we have imported. Now here you have x minimum is -5, x maximum is 5, y minimum is -5, and y maximum is -5. That means on this side there is a -5, on this side there is a 5. Here it is a -5, here it is a 5. Okay, so if these dimensions are, that is minimum and maximum values are like this, then center of this geometry is exact at the origin. Okay, so I will close it. After doing this, I am going to check the mesh. Now I will check this mesh. Now when we check the mesh, here I will show you this console window. Now here you can see here warning message is displayed, and what is that warning message is showing? It is mesh check is failed. Mesh check is failed. Okay, why this mesh check is failed, I will show you. I will tell you. Here in this domain you have non-conformal interface where the mesh nodes are not matching with the uh, interface nodes. Okay, that means there may be mismatch between the adjacent nodes. Okay, and these things have been created intentionally because we need to pair up these things in a solver, so you can get the interpolation across the interface. Okay, and this will allow you to rotate the fluid or rotate the domain. Okay, in general, if you produce several different parts in design modeler, also be non-conformal, and you need to perform the next step to make sure that solver interpolates across the interface. Okay, and the failure may create the mesh interface from the boundary zones, and will cause that interface may act like a walls. Okay, so I'm going to make the interface of the mesh in the Fluent. Okay, but here one more thing I want to tell you here. This interface is must, because we are going to do the uh, uh, moving reference frame analysis. Okay, that means some parts are moving here. Okay, now ignore this warning, and when we make interface, that will be corrected. Okay, now next one, I will go to the display. Now I want to differentiate the parts. So what I will do here, I will keep this display as it is, all edges as it is, and the surfaces as it is. Only just what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the colors, and here I'm going to make color by id. When we make the color by id, that means each id, that means each domain id will be represented by the different color. Okay, different color. Okay, now I will click on close button, and here I'm going to click on display button. Now you can see here, these are the different domains. This is outer domain, already I have shown you here. Here this is your fluid outer domain. These are the blades, that is 4 blades, and this is rotating core. Here also you have this green is rotating core, and these small holes are blades and zone near to the blade. Okay, now this is your outer domain. I will close this. After that, after doing the mesh, we need to do one thing, that is it is a rotating frame. And what we can do in that, when we consider the fluent needs to change the unit of rotational velocity. Why it needs to change the rotational velocity, I will tell you. Here I will click on units, and if I select the angular velocity, you see here by default its unit is radian per second, and generally we are applying the angular velocity in revolution per minute. Okay, so I'm going to select this as a revolution per minute in place of radian per second. That means we are not measuring the angular velocity in radian per second, we are measuring generally in terms of the revolution per minutes. Okay, so we are setting the unit for angular velocity as rpm. Okay, after setting this unit, I will close it. Now I will go to the interface. For that purpose, in domain you have this interface option. In interface, you have to click on mesh. Now here you have to interface the mesh by by selecting the adjacent surfaces. So I'm going to click on manual create. Manual create. Now here you will get this window. Now in this window, I will give the name here. Suppose that is a uh, interface between two hubs. Okay, that is int hub. Okay, now this name I will give. Now you select the here int hub. Now that will be the part of your domain. Okay, int hub a and int hub b. Okay, and you keep all the things as it is, and click on create edit. Now when we click on create edit, you will get here, and that will be added, and the yellow color lines which are visible, that are that are showing the interface. Okay, now next one. After that, after in hub a and b, next, now see here, if you see this. Okay, I will show you this here. If you observe this location, there is no conformal mesh between this blade and this outer zone, that is uh, rotor zone, okay, or core zone. Now here for this there is a name, that is x or y positive a, and here this name is y positive b, okay. And you have to make the interface between these two, so that that mesh will be, or that results between these nodal points will be interpolated, okay. Now I will give the second name. Now mesh interface, suppose I will start from one by one. It is from here. From here you can see here. Here this is your x negative. X negative. You can see here. Here also there is a mismatch between the nodes. Okay. So I will enter here int int x negative, x negative. So I will select here x negative a means this part, and x negative b means this part, that means this element and this element, okay. Now I will create that interface. After that I am going to uh, go for x positive. At positive location also you have same thing here also, okay. So I will give here name int x positive. So I will uh, select here x positive a, and here x positive b, okay, x positive a and x positive b, and I will create this interface. Now one two more interfaces, that is, and on y positive and y negative. So I will write here interface y negative, y negative, okay. So that I am going to set int y negative and int y negative b, okay, this one. Now I'm going to select create edit, okay. This fourth interface have been created. Next I'm going to create the interface between y positive. So I will write here int y positive, then I will select here y positive, and here I will set y positive b, okay, and say create edit, create edit. Now you will get these four interfaces, okay. And see here, during the mesh creation we have good practice to name these boundaries. That means here if you have problems like this, then you have to use the names for these boundaries, okay. So so we can identify easily while doing the interface, okay. Now after doing this, I will close this. Now I will again I will close this, okay. And now I am going to check the mesh. Now see here, I will show you how this error will be removed when we check the mesh. I will check the mesh, and I will open the console mesh. You can see here this warning, mesh checker failed, that was removed, checking of mesh was done, okay. Have you got this one up to here? Have you got? Yes or no, Nitesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will go to the graphics again. Now I have checked the mesh. Now I will go to the setting of the physics. Okay, so here you have same steps. This you go as per the steps. Now you go to the setting of the physics. Now in physics you setting up the solver. Now in solver you have pressure based, absolute and steady state and planar, okay. Now I am going to keep this as it is, and after this one, when we start the sliding mesh, for that I am going to show you how we can do the transient analysis also, okay. Now now after doing this, you have to select the Here we are not going to solve any energy equation. So I am not going to select the energy equation. That means it is not related to the that is temperature problem. Okay. So energy equation we are not including in our solution. So I will select only viscous. Now after selecting the viscous, you select the K epsilon. Now I am going to keep K epsilon model, and here I am going to use K epsilon realizable model. Okay, and I am going to keep this standard wall function as it is because it is suitable for our problem. Okay. Now I will click OK here. Next one. After doing this, you have to define the material. Define the material. Now in physics, you go to the create edit material. Here you just check the material. We are using the air. Okay, and that is your this is your air as a fluid, and this fluid material, and it has this density. It is constant density and viscosity. Now we are not going for thermal, therefore here you will not get the specific heat. Okay, now I am going to keep these properties of the air as it is, and I will just close it. Okay, I will just close it. Okay, now here this fluid domain, it consists of or it is of air. Okay, so not necessary to go for changing any fluid material. Now we have to define the cell zones. Cell zones in this type of problem is important. So I will click here cell zones. Now in cell zones, now first here you have this is outer domain, that is seen by red color, and you have to select the fluid for that is fluid outer domain, and here it will take default air, but we'll check just click on edit button. Now you see here it is air, and rotation axis is not necessary to change. Okay, now here this domain is stationary domain, it is not moving domain, so not necessary to go for this frame motion. Okay, now I will click OK here, and I will close this. Now now next important thing here, this is a core, and this core is rotating with some speed. Okay, so you have to give rotations to that, or angular velocity to that core. How you can give the angular velocity, I will tell you. Now I will set the uh, fluid rotating core, and after that I will click on edit button. In edit button, you see here as it is rotating. See here material through this is here, but it is rotating, so you have to select the frame motion. Okay, now it is showing this frame motion, it is relative to the cell zone. Now see here inner core is not rotating relative to the anything, it is rotating about the axis only. That means it has motion. These blades are rotating relative to the this core, but this core is rotating by its own. Okay, or it is rotating separately. Now here what is the rotation axis? Here rotation axis, already we have seen rotation axis of that is passing through the origin. That means it has x-axis 0 or x coordinate 0, and it has y coordinate also 0. Okay, and after that you have to enter the rotational speed, and it is in rpm. Okay, why? Because you will get the rpm because we have changed the unit. Okay, suppose this speed is 40 rpm. Okay, 40 rpm. After doing this, I will click on OK button. Now I have applied the rotational velocity to the that rotating core. Okay, now next one. Now we have to give the rotational motion to the blades. Okay, blades. Now I will show you how we can give this. Now I will start from this first one, that is x negative. I will set edit. Now in edit, now I will here this fluid is here again. I will set the frame motion, and after frame motion, what we have to do here, whether this is rotating relative to the other zone. Yes, it is rotating related to the other zone, and uh, that zone with or that relative zone we have to select here. So click here, and here it is rotating with rotating core. Okay, rotating core, or now it's a origin or it's a centroid. What is it's a centroid? It's a centroid is here we have selected x negative, so it's a centroid is our rotational axis is -1. Already we have seen in that images, that is -1, and y coordinate is 0. Now here rotational speed is in anti-clockwise direction, so I am going to give here -20. Okay, -20 for speed, or it is a angular velocity. Okay, and here this zone is rotating about its own axis, and that is at 1 meter away from the global origin. Okay, so the rotational speed is half to that of the outer hub. You have to remember this. Okay, that's why I have taken here 20. Now I will click OK here. Now same thing you repeat for x positive, edit. Now here again you select the frame motion. Now it is also rotating with reference to fluid rotating core, and its origin is 10 because it is positive side 10, and its speed is also -20. After doing this, you here I have given the rotation for this blade. You see this blade and this blade. Now I have not given the rotations for this blade and this blade, so I have to select the fluid blade y negative. Again you click on edit button. Next one, here you select the frame reference. Again it is rotating to the core. Okay, now here it is y negative, so 0, -1, and here it is -20. Okay, it is -20 rpm. Click OK.
Sir,
Yes,
it's not showing for me. Is this problem for me or from you?
yes, please speak loudly.
The screen is not visible.
Is it visible for others?
No, sir. No, sir.
Not visible. Okay, I will share once again. Is it visible now? Yes or no?
Still no.
And what happens? Because from my side it is shared. The answer, is it visible?
No, sir, not visible.
Why it is not visible? From my side it is shared.
If you are an organizer, then it should be visible, sir. You can share it once again, sir. Let's
Okay, I will
check it out.
share once again. I will stop sharing. Now I will share it. Now you check it. Is it visible?
No, sir.
No, sir. Do one thing. Close your PowerPoint and then share it.
What I will do, I will leave the meeting and I will rejoin it. Okay. Then it will be this
Okay, that
problem
also
will be.
fine.
that problem will be resolved. Okay, I will. Now check it whether it is visible.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes, yes. Okay. Here I have given the rotations to all these domains. Only one domain is remaining. I will show you that domain, how we can give the rotations to that blade. Okay. Now fluid brake blade Y positive. That means this one, that blue color. Blue colored, it is rotating with reference to this core. Okay. This core, and its centroid is at 0 1. Okay, so I will set this fluid blade Y positive. I will click on edit button. After that, you see here you have to select frame motion, and here you select the fluid rotating core. Fluid rotating core, because it is this blade is rotating relative to the this fluid rotating core. So we have to select relative to the cell zone. If it is not rotating relative to the cell zone or any other zone, then you have to select the absolute. Okay, that means first the core was rotating with respect to absolute axis. Okay, now here it is a Y positive, so its centroid is at 0 1 meter, 0 1. Okay, and here speed of that is minus 20, that is half of your core speed. Okay, now click OK here. Have you got this one? Any doubt? Yes or no? How I have applied the
So,
rotational? Yes,
so you are not doing that copy to the mesh motion.
mesh motion. See here,
Yes.
here what I am going to do, I am going to show you by the approach which I have explained during the start of this session. That means I am going to solve this problem by using moving reference frame. Moving reference frame. And when we solve same problem by sliding mesh, then you have to copy that mesh to the or copy that to the mesh. Okay. Now you can see here this one. Na? When it is required, when we are uh, using second approach, that is a sliding mesh approach or dynamic mesh approach. Are you getting this? Yes, Nitesh?
Yes, sir. So right now only that frame is moving, like a whole body part is
Yes,
moving.
yes. That selected domains are moving. Are you getting this? And
Yes, sir.
here this actual displacement or actual movement we cannot see here, but we'll get the effect at instantaneous. Okay. But when we
Okay,
select
sir.
this, when we select the mesh motion, then we can get the actual effect of that rotations or that motion. Okay, that also I will show you. I will click OK here. Now after doing this, I will go to the setting of the boundaries. Setting of the boundaries. Now I will go to the boundaries. Now in boundaries, I will select the. Now this is not new for this. Here velocity inlet wind, this one I will click edit. Now here we have to specify the air velocity, because air is coming through this side, this is your region, it is the inlet region. Okay, and through that side your air is coming. Okay, now here I am going to enter the velocity, suppose 10 meter per second, 10 meter per second. Okay, and here I am going to use intensity and length scale. Intensity and length scale. Now here I am going to keep this 5% as a turbulent intensity and 1 meter as a length scale, that is the largest ED scale. Okay, after that I will click OK button. Okay, same thing I am going to give for pressure outlet. Pressure outlet. Now here I will select this one and I will click edit button. Next one. Next, after doing this, you will get this window. Here you have zero pressure. You keep this normal to boundary, that is outlet pressure is 0. Here also I am going to select length, that is intensity and length scale, and I am going to keep same thing. Okay, and I will click OK button. Okay, now next one. Here one more boundary, that is some boundaries are required again. Now what are that boundaries? I will tell you. Here X blade negative, I will click edit here. Now here, now here it was moving wall, am I right? It is moving wall. Okay, so you select this moving wall. Now what type of motion is there? It is a rotational motion. It is rotational motion. Now it is a negative, so rotation axis is -1, -1, 0. Am I right? Now this wall of the blade on negative side, that wall, here you have wall now, you see here this inner, this should be rotate with your zone. Okay, that wall should rotate with, or that should rotate with your zone. Okay, and its rotation center is at -1, 0. Okay, so here these motions you can give here, and there is a no slip condition, there is a standard one. Okay, I will click OK here. Okay, now next one, after that what you have to do, I will give the same thing for all other blades. Okay, now I will set X positive. I will click on edit button. Just coordinate is changed. Okay, it is not stationary, it is moving, it is rotational, and here it has 1 for X coordinate. I will click OK. Okay, next one, wall blade, Y positive. Now for that, edit. This also moving wall. Now here it is a rotational and origin is 0, 1. Here it has Y coordinate 1 and X coordinate 0. Sorry, 1, 0. Okay. Now this is your wall blade positive Y. Next, wall blade negative Y. I will click edit. Now here it is also moving wall and it is rotational movement, and after that here Y coordinate of the axis is -1 and I will click OK here. Okay, now these are the conditions we need to give. Now I will go to the solution and I will set the method. In method I will set the coupled, that is pressure velocity coupling, and I will keep remaining things as it is. Now after that I will initialize the solution, that is hybrid, and I will click on initialize. Now we'll check this console window. In hybrid initialization is over. Okay, now after that we have to monitor the what we can say, we have to monitor the some entities as a for what we can for residuals. Okay, now I will go to the definition, new, and I am going to monitor here moment. Monitor here moment. Okay. Now here, now what we are going to do, I'm going to use, suppose this is monitor 1, and here I will select, here for movement of one blade it is sufficient. For movement of one blade it is sufficient. I will select this one. Okay. And I am going to define the monitoring center as -1, 0, because it is a on negative side. Okay. Next one, here I am going to monitor movement. Okay. Monitor movement, and monitoring center or movement center is at x is equal to -1 and y is equal to 0. Now after that you select report file and report plot. Okay. You can select only report plot, or you can select only report file also. That is also sufficient. Okay. Now I will click OK. One more monitor I will do. I will go to the new. Again I will monitor the force, that is moment, and it is suppose monitor 2. This monitor 2, or next one. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to monitor positive movement or movement of this X positive blade. Okay. So here you have 1, 0, 1. Here I'm going to select report file and report plot. Okay. Report file and report plot. Now anything missing? Nothing. Okay. I will click OK here. After that I will solve it. For that purpose I will go to the run calculation, and in run calculation I am going to enter number of iterations 60. Number of iterations 60. Okay. And I am going to click on calculate button. Now it will solve. If you have doubt in between this, you can ask me. Calculation is over. I will click OK. Next one, I will check some results in this one. Now I will go to the results. Here, contours. I will click on edit. Now I will set the field. Now here I am going to select velocity. Okay. And I will click on display button. Now you can see here you have velocity. Velocity at this location is high. Here air is coming, and see here if you observe this one, here 1.4 into 10 raised to 1, and this is 3.6. Okay, 3.6. Here less velocity, here high velocity. Again these velocities are depending upon the flow direction, you are getting the velocity. Okay. Now after doing this, I will close this. Now I will minimize this. Okay. I will save the file, save project. It will take some time. Now I will minimize this. If you have doubt, you can ask me. Next I will go to the workbench. Now I am going to solve by using sliding mesh. Now what I will do, I will double click here. I will write here moving reference frame, MRF. Okay. Now I am going to create a duplicate copy of this. Now here I am going to show you how we can do the sliding mesh. That is how we can see the sliding mesh. That means here in case of moving reference frame, if we see the moving reference frame, we can simulate the only one position of the hub related to the incoming air. Okay, are you getting, Nitesh? That's why we are getting that type of velocity. We have got the only one position of the hub. Okay, and each blade will be affected by some vortices resulting from other blades. Then what we need if we want to simulate the actual motion, okay, actual motion, then we have to go for the sliding mesh option. Now for sliding mesh option, what I'm going to do, in this ANSYS workbench, I am going to create one duplicate copy. Okay, and suppose this duplicate copy is sliding mesh. Now it is just a name for this Fluent window. Okay, and after that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the solution of sliding mesh with the solution of this one. Okay, now when we share the solution, a lot of things not necessary to give as input. That means only different things, that means only specific things we have to add. Okay, so I have shared that solution. Okay, and one more thing, we have used the steady state solution that as a starting point, but here in case of sliding mesh, we are going to use a transient solution. Okay, now for that purpose, what we will do, I will double click on this solution. It will open the one more window for Fluent. Now wait for 1 minute for opening. Okay, it has opened. Now one thing you have to do here, we are going to do the transient analysis. So you go to the physics, select the general, and here under the time you select the transient. Okay.
Sir, we can also do that study here.
Yes, we can do steady state, but I want to show you transient analysis. So I have not taken separate problem for transient. Okay.
Okay,
Are
sir.
you getting this? Because of time, we cannot go for each and every type of separately. Am I right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now this is transient analysis. Now what I will do, I will go to the next in physics zones, that is cell zones. Now when I click on cell zones, now you will get these options. Now here what we are going to do, we are going to do the sliding mesh. So how we can do the sliding mesh, I will tell you. Here you go to the fluid rotating core and you click on, see here, this is a rotating part now. In moving reference frame, we have given the rotations. Now that rotations we want to give to the mesh. Okay, so you click on edit button, now you will get this window. Now see here these things which we have given in moving reference frame, that is we have given the frame motion absolute, that is 40 rpm, everything we have given. Okay, now what you have to do here, you have to click on copy to the mesh motion. That means these conditions you have to copy to the mesh motion. So click on this. Now when we click on copy to the mesh motion, your mesh motion will be activated. Now here rotation axis is 0 0. Okay, and one thing here, not necessary to change anything because we have just copied. And if you see here this frame motion is deselected and now mesh motion is selected. Okay, have you got it, Nitesh? Yes.
Yes, sir. So what
Okay.
do we have to be on that rotation axis for us to keep
Yes,
that?
rotation axis is origin for this core.
Yes,
Or
yes, good.
okay, it is here this green part, this green part for that it is origin.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
okay, sir.
Now I will click OK button here. Okay. Now you repeat the same thing for all other parts. Okay. Now first I will select the X blade negative. I will click on edit button. Now here also you keep this as it is and you click on copy to the mesh motion. Copy to the mesh motion. Now here it was selected mesh motion. Now here rotating relative to the this core. Okay, and rotation axis because it is a negative blade, that means on this side, that is on left side, and so you will get directly here -1 0. Okay, -1 0. I will click OK here. It will automatically take everything. I will click OK here. Now next one, I will go to the fluid blade positive. I will click edit here. Now next one, again you here you select copy to the mesh motion. Now mesh motion is selected, it is X positive, so X coordinate is 1 and Y coordinate is 0. Again you click OK button. Now you go to the Y negative, click edit. Now here copy to the mesh motion. Now here it is Y negative, so X coordinate is 0 and Y coordinate is -1. Okay, and RPM is same. Click OK here. After that you go to the fluid blade positive, click on edit button. Now next one you select copy to the mesh motion, same thing, it is a Y positive, so click OK button. Now one thing I want to tell you here see here the monitors which we have calculated, which we have plotted, that monitors should be deleted. Okay, that means you should delete the report definition, that is CM1 and CM2. Okay, so I will delete this CM1, that is moment monitor, and CM2, this is report. Yes, next just right click and delete it. Next on monitors you have report files. Here report file is delete, this CM2 delete. Next report plots, here you delete, and this also you have to delete. Okay, after that one thing here, we have to create the animation for this. Now we'll check whether it may be working or it may not be working. Okay, I will check it. If it is working, then it is okay. Now I'll go to the solution. Now activities, create solution animation. After that, here there is only residual. What I will do, I will add the contour plot, and here I'm going to select velocity contour, suppose. Okay, velocity contour, I will keep all the things. Okay, and click on save display. Now velocity contour is displayed. I will click OK. Now here you will get time step animation 1. Here contour is selected. and I will click OK here. Select an object. Okay, I have not selected object. I have created just the animation. Sorry. Now I will set this contour and click OK. Over. Now after doing this, here contour is displayed, everything is over. Now this CM1 is also deleted. Now next one, now you run this calculation. Now here for run calculation, here what you have to do, it is a what it is transient problem, it is a transient case. So you have to give the delta t, that is a time step, number of time steps and time step size. Here it is suppose 0.05, sorry 0.005. If you give the smaller size, then it will not create any stability issue. Okay, and this is total number of time steps are 300. Okay, now here these are the number of steps and this is time step size. 300 into this one, it will be the total time, that is product of these two. Okay, and here number of iterations, it will not necessary to give, because it will software will automatically calculate up to the convergence of the solution, and it will take some time. I will click here calculate. Now see here, initially these residual from the residuals are of the uh, sawtooth pattern with high values at the beginning. That means here pitch of that teeth is very high at the beginning, but when it moves, it requires I think more than 5,000 iterations. When it moves or when solution progresses, that will come close to that. Okay, and one more thing I want to tell you here, at each time step, Fluent iterates until the solution has converged for the current time. Okay, uh, the after getting the solution, then it will go to the next time step, and iterates until the solution has converged, and this process is continue up to the 300 time steps. Up to the 300 time steps, the whatever iterations are required, that will uh, be decided, or that will be required for each and every step. Okay, now we will wait for, I think it requires 5 to 10 minutes. In between that, if you have any doubt related to this training, you can ask me. Yes, any doubt? I have solution file, but I'm not going to open that solution file. I'm going to show the results here. You can see here how it is going to converge. Now it is, this distance is going to reduce, and only 15% solution has been completed. Sumit, if you have doubt, you can ask me.
Sir, I have one doubt. Can I ask?
Yes.
Sir, yeah, if you consider a thermal field problem, and suppose the fluid is flowing inside the tube, hollow
Hmm.
tube, then we generally used to specify the connection in between the fluid and that inside part of the tube,
Hmm.
okay, in meshing itself. So
Okay.
is it necessary or is it mandatory to define the mesh interface in your setup?
No, if it is not rotating, it is not necessary. I think I have given, I have yesterday, not yesterday, I have given one problem on electronic cooling system. No? Electronic cooling system. I have shown the
Yes,
solution.
sir. Yes, sir.
In that,
Yeah.
I have not defined any interface because that tube is considered as a solid. That is wall. What is need of interface? I will tell you. Here, if there is no conformal mesh, that means there is no coincidence between the nodes, adjacent nodes or neighboring nodes. Okay, then that will be treated as a wall in a fluid dynamics. Okay, if there is no connection between the two nodes that are non-conformal mesh, it is known as non-conformal mesh. Non-conformal mesh is considered as a wall for the fluid flow. That means that fluid will not be flow uh, across that wall, across that interface. Okay, and in case of pipe flow or in case of tubes, if we need that metal tube, then not necessary to make the conformation between that two meshes. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have-
But but we but we do not give the conformal mesh. Then how the heat transfer will takes place?
that we have to define the properties. Na? We have to define the convection properties, radiation properties, and all these properties. Okay. Here in
Okay, okay.
that is
Yes.
in electronic cooling system, I have defined what that is convection heat transfer coefficients, then specific heat, that means all properties of copper, that FR4, everything I was defined. Na? That type of property you have to give.
Yes, yes.
Now here this distance is going to reduce. Any other doubt? Nitish, any other doubt? Yusuf Alansari?
No, sir, no doubts.
You see here how it is coming close. It is a transient, that's why it is taking some time. I can open the new file, but there may be possibility of the crash of all the things. If we do while solving these type of problems, if we do extra things, then there may be possibility of the crash and your system may hang. Okay, that's why I'm not doing anything. It will take up to 5,000 iterations, 5 to 6,000 iterations. While getting the solution, don't press any of the button from these three buttons. That is, stop at the end of the iteration, stop at the end of time step, or start server. Don't press any button. Okay, don't use any option. You have to allow it to complete up to the last iteration, that means up to complete solution, and then you go for the next process. Now 10% is remaining only. It is taking more than 6,000 iterations. You check it. Now it is over. You will get the message calculation is over. Okay. Now I will go to the results. First I will plot this contour. I will display it. It is here. Okay, contour, edit, field I will select. Now it is this display. Now we will check here whether it is going to animate. Now I will click on solution playback. Solution playback. Now here it is animation which we have selected. It is selected. I will check by play once. Now you can see here how it is rotating. Is it visible? How it is rotating? Yes or no? You give the reply. Nitish, is it visible?
Yes,
Nitish?
sir. Yes, sir. Visual.
Yes. Now in this way we can select this sliding mesh, and because of the sliding mesh we will get this type of animation. Okay. Now I will stop this animation. I will close and see here one more things here. If you want to see this animation, you have to create the animation while doing the inputs for this problem. That means in the solution. Okay. Now I will save this project, and next I will open the CFD post in ANSYS Workbench. I am going to open the CFD post. Here I will drag the result and I will put here. Again I will share this solution also with this one. Okay, both solutions I am going to share with CFD post. That means I am going to check the both solutions simultaneously. Now for that purpose I will double click on the results. It will open the CFD post. CFD post. Next it has opened. Now here in these two domains it has opened. Now here we cannot see the animation. Okay, we can see the animation of streamlines only. That is moving mesh we cannot see here. I will make this in this form. I will lock it and I will just make. Okay, I have locked, therefore we will get the same motion of two parts. Okay. Now here you can see the vector, contour, everything. Contour. Okay. Now here you can see contour for. Okay, I will set the domains. I will set all symmetry because it is a two-dimensional. Actually, it is a three-dimensional, but we have converted this into two-dimensional. So we have defined a symmetry. Okay, and we have to select for both. Now it is selected for this one. Press Control button and select one by one. Okay, I will click OK here. Now these are the locations. Now you can see the variable, that is suppose velocity. Now click on apply button. Now you can see here how velocity is. Here there is a slight difference between your moving reference frame and sliding reference frame. This is your moving reference frame and this is your sliding reference frame. You can see this. Okay. Now this is slide difference. Have you got it? Now, after
Yes, sir.
checking this, here you can check other results also. Now, here, what I want to tell you, by using MRF technique, that is moving reference frame technique, the flow can be quickly simulated, okay, using steady state solver, okay, which appropriate acceleration terms to each grid cell. Although this work, it was not ideal for the particular scenario. Okay, now here you can check the streamlines also, and for streamlines you start from the inlet. Where is inlet? That was velocity inlet, na? Velocity inlet wind. I will check this. Okay, I will hide the contour. This velocity inlet, and click on apply button. Now here these are the streamlines, and you can check the animation for streamlines here. You can see here. Okay, that should how it is moving here. Are you getting this? We cannot see animation for rotations, that is moving mesh. Okay, any doubt here? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Any doubt? Is it okay? Hello? Yes or no? Are you getting this or not? Okay, I will stop here, and tomorrow we will meet at same time. Okay, and
Okay, sir.
tomorrow or day after tomorrow it will be finished. Okay, see, actually it will not be finished, because